Hello.
Because he has logged out.
Yeah, he seems to have locked down. Let's wait for a while. If we can wait, whether we can see whether he's been able to join in again.
Yes.
There seems to be some problem at his end. We will wait for a minute or so, then we'll decide on it. Mr. Satish, are you there? I think we would have to end the chat now because there seems very slight possibility that he would be able to join in. Uh, yeah. Yeah, he's joining us back. Hello, Mr. Satish. Yeah, can you hear us? Yeah, yeah.
You know what happened? You muted me.
Yeah.
And that created a problem.
Okay,
Anyway,
okay.
so last slide only. So just a minute.
Yeah, yeah.
A minute. I'll just.
We are having a couple of questions. We should take it.
Yeah, I think we can go ahead with the questions now. Not a problem.
Yeah. So I'll take it one by one for you.
Yes.
We would move on with the question and answer session. One question that has been asked by Ms. Guljan Tuteja. She's into education sector, and since you told us that you have having this interaction with education for the time being for a great amount of time, can you tell us what new skills one should learn and one should attain in teaching and education sector in particular?
Okay. Traditional teaching and learning. See, I was the lecturer for 6 years in one of the engineering college way back in 90s. Right, and the traditional way of teaching in those days, 97, I can say that we used to use blackboard and chalk. Slowly and silently we migrated to PPTs. See, my spouse is a lecturer and she uses PPTs most of the time, and very few people are using now blackboard and chalk. Though I believe in the traditional method, but now with these things coming in picture, we need to really look at it now how we can do sessions like this. You don't know what is your students are doing, right? Sitting in front of camera, right? And how do I control that class? How do I ensure that they attend my sessions? And how do I ensure that the learning is taking place? So apart from regular lecturing that I'm doing, I have to come out with a creative way of giving the assignments, assigning, ensuring that the assignments are completed on time, and the feedback is reaching to the students. See, if it's a regular classroom, sitting in the classroom, I can give feedback across the table. Now by sitting here, how do I do that? Right? My daughter is attending her online dance classes now. So her teacher does it from her house, and my daughter repeats it in my house. So, and then there is a quiz what she conducts, and there are quite a few things what she is doing. So a teacher will now move from mindset of controlling class in a closed environment to the open environment which we are into now, and ensure what newer techniques of engaging the students he or she can develop, right? So that's what the skill set which they have to come out with, how learning enforcement can be done, what creative assignments can be given, and how the assessment of the assignment can happen, right? So they have to get into developing e-content also, like presentations. And earlier I can start a YouTube video on the screen in the class and sort it out. Now how do I do it here? So those are the things which probably teachers will need to get into first. Second, teaching community per se. Today you say a word and people Google it out and find out what is the content, and your content, and if that content is not matching, student get into a dilemma. What exactly it is? How do I ensure that people believe in what I'm saying? and that is the truth, right? So those are the challenges which teaching community will face, and that is the newer skill that teaching community will, or teachers community will require to get into. Yes, Sandeep. Hello. Hello.
Hello. Yeah, can you get me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, in regard
I was audible, or
yeah, you were audible. You were audible. I think I was muted for
okay,
some
no
reason.
problem.
Now I
Go
think
ahead.
I'm audible too. So in regard to that, we have been doing. We have been doing so many studies about having attaining new skills. Conducted a survey of various sectors, and we found that in the hotel and tourism sector, 78% of them said that they can surely attain some new skills and join some other profession. Whereas education performed lowest, only 13%, 13% of the teachers said that, and this was, we are talking about the higher education sector.
I understand.
People who teach at grad and post-grad levels.
That's
So only
good.
13% of people said that they are not well versed with any other skills. They find it very difficult to attain some new skills, and they seem to be more of a negative as compared to any other industry. In manufacturing, 39% of people said that they can learn some new skills. So
Understand.
this is the thing with it. Now I would like to share one verse share with you, which comes to my mind listening to you for last 1 hour or so. We have to learn new things because everything has been changed. So we may call it post COVID-19 era. So कोई हाथ भी न मिलाएगा जो गले मिलोगे तपाक से, ये नए मिजाज का शहर है जरा फासले से मिला करो. So we would have to cope up with these kind of situations. We would have to attain new skills.
Yes.
So that was eye opener for many of us. I think all of us.
Yes.
So next question is, I think it's relevant, which we should take up. Beyond issuing pink slips, are there any options which can be looked at post COVID-19, as it is impacting directly on existence of manufacturing industry in particular?
See, pink slip is the last resort any organization tries to do, right? People try to first try to do the austerity measures, like cut down on welfare expenses like canteen, transport. The lavish food which was supported, given earlier might have been cut down. We may, cut down instead of 3 sweets in a week, we may come down to 1 sweet a week. Fruits will cut down, eggs will cut down. So we'll start working on cost cutting in all the spheres where it's possible. Second thing, what we do is normally try to cut down the salary and wages also. And you might have heard that, people are taking salary cut of 10%, 15%, 20%, 30%. But after that also, if things are not improving and things are not moving, then we left with no option but to cut down on headcount, right? So definitely many organizations try to ensure that this is the last step that they will take. But unfortunately, today's situation is like you have both the side disruption, supply side disruption as well as demand side disruption. So many people have not faced this situation in their life. It was either supply side disruption or demand side disruptions, and people were able to come out with it. Getting disturbed is creating a panic kind of a situation, and people are getting into action or in action mode. Only good part for India, two signs which I can see. One, our domestic consumption is good. So naturally, we will not require to face or will require to get into such a harsh actions. And second, many companies, because of behavior of China, are willing to relocate, and India is their next destination. So I can see down the line 6 months, 1 year, some development happening in the manufacturing sector for India. But again, these are fast-paced thinking and based on a lot of other equations, like what benefits we are going to extend and what benefits China can extend. Say, investor will always look at what benefits I'm going to get, right? Emotional things come second in investors, right? Okay, might have created problem globally, but tomorrow if they say that okay, next 5 years we are not going to charge you anything and we do interest-free loans to set up the factories, investor may think that becomes a lucrative proposition as compared to India, and let me continue. We we don't know, right? Though there is a pressure from their local governments like Japan and US forcing companies to come back to some other location. They're not specifically mentioning India, but definitely India becomes a favorite destination. But industrialists will think the way they want to, right? But manufacturing sector, yes, there will be some movement which will happen. Our IT sector and ITES and BPO sector will have some challenge because IT, in my opinion, is always a secondary sector. If manufacturing is doing well, if services are doing well, then IT does well. If these two sectors are not doing well, then IT will also have difficulty because customer to IT is manufacturing and services sector, right? So if customer is not doing well, nobody will be willing to invest in IT. Little long and
Exactly. So
prolonged.
we do have, right. So we do have time for a couple of questions.
Yeah.
So it has been an extended
Yes.
session. So I'll take a couple of them.
Yes.
So one is regarding the MSME sectors, micro and small industries. What would be the coping mechanism for that? Would you like to comment on that?
What will be the?
What will be the coping mechanism for the micro and small
See,
industries, especially in terms of labor shortage problem and in the short run?
short run labor shortage, there is nothing which can be done because it's a psychology of people which is at work. Everybody is feeling that मरना ही है तो मैं मेरे घर जाके मरूंगा, इधर क्यों मरूं? Which is working right now, and governments are working to avoid it. But definitely, the MSME sector is going through a turmoil in terms of labor. But at the same time, we need to understand MSME sector is primarily tier 1, tier 2 automotive suppliers, bulk of belonging to that category, right? Your OEMs are not doing that great, right? Many of them have a huge inventory because April sales is 0, March is not that great. So they have a inventory which they have created for the March end sale, right? So definitely OEMs are not demanding much from MSME at this point of time. This is my understanding of the things, the way things are moving, right? But definitely when it starts working, MSME will get manpower for them, because if I have got an option to work in telco and a supplier of telco, I will always prefer to telco because there is some benefit which I get when I work with telco from the skill perspective and from the financial perspective also, right? So MSMEs will require to come out with some proposition to attract labor, and as I understand, their basic source of labor is either from UP Bihar or the rural Maharashtra if they are from based out of Maharashtra. And from Haryana government, they are saying there is a reverse flow hubs of Haryana. People want to, the laborers want to migrate from you. Those who went to from Haryana to UP Bihar, now they want to come back. So 70% of the population which is asking to migrate is primarily these migrant laborers who actually migrated back to their hometown, are again willing to come back to the cities like Gurugram and Ghaziabad and those places. So I don't see much challenge coming in, but they have to create some value proposition for the laborers to come. There will be some wage disruption happening on MSME. MSME required to pay some premium to attract the labor.
Right. So we have again. I'll be referring to one of our studies. So in that study, we found out that most of the industries are disrupting the wages. They have been either cutting down the salaries or putting them on hold. Most of them are still not on the mode that they could give pink slips as of now. So what,
Yes.
as an insider and as somebody who has seen this particular the industry in particular for 2 decades, is the scenario within the industry? How many companies, according to you, are reducing wages or disrupting wages?
See, wage disruption definitely, because there is no demand and many companies don't have a strong treasury. That means there is no service which is being held by companies, because see, unfortunately this pandemic is impacting India more on the labor front, the industry front, because we took a decision of demonetization in 2017. Right? We were about to survive out of that demonetization to GST. Sometime 18, 19 to sometime we went into GST, and then industry things. And after that GST, somehow we were about to come out, we got into this pandemic. So typically in Indian situation, we had 3 blows every 18 months or 15 months time, and we are surviving and struggling. We are surviving and again we are struggling. So many companies don't have a strong treasury to support the workforce. Okay, that's why you'll find that salaries are delayed. Salaries are already announced, and including organizations like Reliance and Mahindra, maybe many other organizations have come out with salary cuts. Many organizations have already announced there is no increment or promotions which are going to happen this year, right? And many organizations now, after doing all these things, if they feel that still the costs are not coming within the control, right, then they will get into the separation part of it. So you might have recently understood that there are 300 people who have been kept on bench by Wipro, and their union, the IT union, has gone into the labor court saying that this action cannot be done. So a lot of challenges are going to come in terms of labor issues, and government machinery, the labor offices, the courts will be engaged in these activities, right? But it is inevitable. See, I don't see, unless the demand restores, things will on the labor market. Labor market is going to go through a turmoil, and all the actions which are going to help to survive will be taken by the management, including the job cuts, and some pockets it has already started, right? Now, job cuts, people have migrated, so I may ask them to come and they are not resuming duty. So for me, 7 days of absenteeism, unauthorized absenteeism, I can terminate someone. So I don't need to issue a pink slip, but it's the official termination that I'm doing, right, for the workers specifically. For officers, yes, we are having the soft way, and we work on separations maybe down the line 3-4 months. Not Suzlon per se. I don't say Suzlon will do this, but many other organizations may get into this mechanism down the line 2 months after this 17th of May. Once the companies start resuming, we'll have a better and clear picture. How demand is reshaping will decide how the labor market is reshaping.
Right. And one more question. Now, governments has been telling the industries, the companies that they should not reduce the employees. So how does that affect? Because in our study, we found out that one of the most regulated sectors, education, it was on the highest. 85% of the institutions that we studied have been disrupting the wages for last from the April itself. Even before that, we know the conditions of education. We would be uploading that complete report on our website very soon. Does regulations does any help to the employees when the governments are telling the industries that they should not reduce the employees?
See,
they should not cut wages.
Government, these decisions of government, in my opinion, are populistic decision. It is just a message to community that yes, we are behind you, right? To the citizens that we are behind you. But unfortunately, if I don't have money in my treasury as an industry owner, even if government forces me to pay, from where I will pay? Government has to come out with a mechanism to support me.
Right? Exactly.
With some soft loan or some long-term loans, some mechanism to pay. Otherwise, how I will pay? मेरे बैंक में पैसे तो मैं दूंगा कहाँ से? First. And second, government may enforce legally, then it will get into litigation. Companies like there are already some companies have already filed writ petitions in Supreme Court saying that yes, government is forcing us, but we don't have resources. So government has to help us, to get those resources, and then only we will be able to pay. So government enforcement backed by certain supporting mechanism through banks or financial institution will help to government enforce these directives. Simply enforcing these directives, companies and the owners of the organizations will go to litigation because मेरे पास नहीं है तो मैं दूं कहाँ से?
Exactly.
And it's mandatory obligation on me, right? If I'm not earning, my organization is not running, I can support for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. See, any contract, any employment clause says 2 months notice period. I will honor, which I will honor. I will not disown that particular agreement which I have made with my employee. But beyond that, if you are forcing me to survive for 6 months, 8 months, then you have to support me.
Right. So this takes me to my last question. And it is in particular to the students coming out of the colleges and willing to join the workforce. What would be the scenario for them? Do you see any opportunities coming for them, for the freshers?
This batch is going to be a little unfortunate as the batch of 2001-2002. And who were passed out of 2001-2002 might have gone through a similar period when the dot-com bubble burst. Because in 2000, V2K was revenue earner for many companies. तो चले गए थे और 2000 में पता चला कि किसी की भी जरूरत नहीं है, and the entire offers were withdrawn and this thing. But people don't need to get panic about it. There will be opportunities coming down the line 6 months. Maybe you need to look at the skill set and wage depression, say wage reduction, because you might have got an offer of 5 lakh rupees on campus, but now that company is not doing well, so they may say that, boss, we may not be able to pay 5 lakh, but maybe 2.5 lakh, 2 lakh we will be able to offer. If you want to join, you can join, or some other company may come back with similar wages and you may need to start from there. So there will be opportunities coming, but not to that spot where before maybe 29th of February, right? So this batch will face some time, but fortunately I can say that there is one thing, एक advantage भी है कि इनकी exams भी अभी अक्टूबर जून जुलाई में होने वाली है. So by that time their examinations are complete, their results are coming out, it will be September, October, and meanwhile I think we'll have a clear picture on this economic also.
Right.
So don't get panic now कि अरे अभी मैं एग्जाम देके भी क्या करूं, मेरा जॉब तो लगने वाला नहीं है. ऐसा नहीं है. See, any efforts that you put in your studies right now will help you down the line throughout your career. So don't give up. That's what my suggestion.
Positivity is the only thing that we can have right now.
Yes.
So we can say that हमको मालूम है जन्नत की हकीकत, लेकिन दिल के खुश रखने को
Correct.
वाली भी ख्याल अच्छा है.
Correct.
Was brave talk I have heard in last couple of weeks. So we need to have talks like these so that we can openly see what is going to come in front of us and we can be prepared accordingly. So we have been having talks regarding economy, environment, the socio-political aspects of COVID-19 and other things that have been happening right now. But this was an inside out story of the organization sector from a person who has seen it all. And I believe it was very honest and very brave. And for us, it was something that we should adapt to immediately as far as possible. One of the key aspects that he had mentioned was getting connected with people. So I think we have been doing this that at Casper evidently. So we are right now a network of 20,000 people, and there are many people. He talked about having a good habit of exercise. So I'm personally gonna do that from today itself. Tomorrow never comes, so I'll be doing it from today itself, and that was certainly an eye opener for many of us. So thank you for that. And we would be having many sessions like these. We would be interacting with industry people time and again. We would be having Mr. Tikam Singh from the Times of India again as the industry representative in the next week, and we would also have his opinion. We are having Dr. Neeraj Hatekar from University of Mumbai today evening at 6 p.m.
Right.
So join us for that.
Yes.
He is estimating the COVID-19 spread. Then we are having Dr. Sukhdev Singh from IIM Ahmedabad. He is the chairperson. So he'll be talking talking on the topic regarding agriculture financing. So there are a good amount of academicians we are having within this chat group. So please tune into that as well. He's somebody who is known for his knowledge about agriculture in India. So that would be on Thursday, next Thursday. So I think to end, I think we can just hope that there would be good times as we had. Thank you, Satish sir. It was great having you.
Thank you, Sandeep.
Gave us some great insights.
Thanks to all participants for sparing the time and listening to me patiently.
Exactly. Thank you, participants, for being there for this long. So we would have you, sir, again with some other topic or advising us, guiding us on some other topic. And we would see that how we can have fruitful engagements like these. So thank you, everyone. I believe it is time for lunch. So thanks again, and see you soon. Yeah, good day.
Bye.
Good day to everyone.
Bye. Good day.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.